artist, I hope you're having a fabulous day so far. Today we're starting a brand new project and I'm super excited. Can you guess what this project might be about? Leaves? No, it's not about leaves. What are you talking about? What would make you think that? I'm just kidding. Yes, it's about leaves. I wonder how you guessed. Well, we'll talk about these leaves in just a minute. First, I want to tell you what materials you will need. You're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. That's it. As you might notice, my piece of paper is pretty big. It's actually 12 inches by 12 inches, so it is a square, and it is a white piece of paper, okay? You don't have to have this big piece of paper, right? But we should be starting with a white piece of paper because we are going to be focusing on colors for this project, and white is a great base to add color on top of, okay? Now, let's bring my leaves back over here, okay? In a couple weeks, or a few weeks, I'm not sure, it's always different in South Carolina where we live, but these leaves are going to start to change colors, right? Does anyone know what season that is when leaves start to change colors? They go from this bright green color to more of an orange color or yellow. Some turn red even, right? What season do the leaves start to change color? Yes, fall, right? Because right after summer, we have fall. And this project is kind of in celebration of autumn and fall. I absolutely love it when these leaves start to turn colors in these beautiful, bright, warm colors, right? Those are the kind of colors that we're gonna focus on for this project, okay? But today, I want us to look at some leaves, okay? If you have permission from your parents or a guardian in your house, maybe you want to go outside and find a leaf of your own so you can really observe it in person and look at all of those lines. Look at all those beautiful branching lines. A branching line just starts as one main line, right? You can see that down the center of my leaf here. It has one main line. And for it to be a branching line, it has to have other lines coming off of it like that. And then on those tiny lines, you see those tiny ones? On those tiny lines that came off of our big one are even more tiny ones. So that's what a branching line looks like. Leaves are great examples of branching lines. You can see they have some main big lines throughout, and then branching off of the big ones are smaller lines. We're going to practice drawing branching lines today. I got a bunch of different leaves so you can see different shapes that a leaf might be. You can also look online on Google Images, type in fall leaves, and you can find a bunch of different shapes for your leaves that you're going to draw today. Okay? So, our focus is picking out shapes of leaves that we want to draw and practicing drawing those beautiful branching lines. Look, this one is a great example because it has one main line going straight down the middle. And do you see those other small lines branching off of it on each side? Branching lines happen on the left side and the right side of the big line, right? Okay, so let's think about those kinds of lines as we are drawing today. I'm going to push my leaves over to the side, and I think I'll keep a couple. I just want to keep them around my drawing so that I can see and look at them so I can try to draw them. Okay, now we are going to draw these leaves pretty big. This leaf is not big enough, so I cannot trace it onto my paper. I'm just going to look at it, and I am going to draw it big. Okay? You don't have to draw the whole entire shape of the leaf. Maybe you want to cut it off and just draw this side of the leaf or just the top of the leaf. So let me show you what that looks like, okay? So here's my paper. I'm going to go ahead and write my name, right? Because that's what we always do before we start a brand new project. Write your name and then flip it over so now your name is on the back. We don't want to draw on the same side as our name because then we're just going to cover it up, my friends, okay? So write your name and then flip it over so now your name is on the back. And we're going to start on the edges of our paper. okay? Because I want it to look like these leaves are kind of coming towards the center of the paper, all right? So here's my leaf. This is the first one that I'm gonna try to draw. And I'm gonna have it coming from this corner of my paper, okay? And I'm not gonna draw the whole entire leaf. I just wanna draw the top of it. So I'm gonna start down at the bottom. Your leaf that you draw is gonna look different than mine, so do not copy mine, okay? Draw your own shape for your leaf. And then we're gonna bring up a line and we're going to curve it down. You see, I just drew the top part of this leaf, did not draw the entire one because we are enlarging these. We want to draw big leaves for our project, okay? And I just drew the top portion of my leaf. Now that I have one leaf on my paper, I can start drawing my branching lines. And to do that, I'm gonna start at the top, middle of my leaf, and I'm gonna draw a line all the way down. That's this main line that we talked about with our branching lines. And then with our pencil, we're gonna draw those branching lines, all those tiny lines coming off of this big one. So I'm gonna draw one on this side, and I'm gonna draw another on the left side. Draw one on this side, and I'm bringing these branching lines almost to the edge of my leaf, but I'm not bringing it all the way. We want to leave a little bit of space right there, okay? And since I did one branching line on this side, I'm going to come to this side and do another branching line, and I'm going to do that all the way down my leaf. Some of my lines are a little bit curved, because if I look at my leaf, they're not perfectly straight, they're a little bit curved, like this one and this one, okay? So think about that kind of stuff while you are drawing your leaf today. Now, since this is going to be a big drawing with big leaves, some of those lines are going to fall off the paper, and that is totally okay. In fact, that is what you should do, okay? If you don't have enough room, then just make those lines fall off the paper. Totally fine. So there's one leaf. Now I want to do another corner over here. So I'm going to rotate my paper so that it's easier to draw, and I'm going to draw another leaf shape. Okay, but remember, we want it to be pretty big. We're not going to draw the entire leaf, just about the top, or you could do the side. I think I'll do the side of a leaf right here. And I don't want to do these shapes. I'm thinking of another leaf that I'll put a picture up right here so you can kind of see the shape that I'm thinking of, but it's more of a pointy leaf. These are kind of rounded and curved, but I know of a leaf, or I've seen a leaf outside that has more pointy edges like that. And I think this one is actually going to overlap on top of that leaf. And that's okay. And look, this leaf is getting pretty big. I don't have enough room over here, so what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna draw it off the edge, drop it off the edge of my paper. Okay, and there's my second leaf done. Now, these two leaves are overlapping. That means one is on top of the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take my eraser and I'm gonna just erase that line from my other leaf. So now it doesn't look like they're being smushed together. It looks like this leaf that I just drew is on top of that leaf. Okay, so anytime that happens, just take your eraser and erase that line where they are overlapping. Okay, once you draw your shape of your leaf, we're gonna draw the main line for our branching line. Remember, we start at the top of our leaf to do that, and then we bring it down all the way. And we talked about leaves have more curvy lines than straight lines, right? So it can curve if you want it to curve. And then I'm gonna start drawing those beautiful branching lines on each side. So I'm gonna draw it on the right side, and then I'm gonna draw another small line or a branching line coming off the left side. And I'm gonna do that all the way down my leaf, that main line that we drew, all the way down. And while you're drawing your branching lines, don't draw them too close to each other, Okay, we're gonna color this later, and if you draw those lines too close to one another, it's gonna be very hard to color. So what I like to do to help myself remember not to draw these lines too close together is I take my finger and then I mark where my next one is supposed to go, because that's a perfect amount of space, is 1 finger length wide in between each of our branching lines. So I'm just putting my finger down and drawing my branching lines. Now these need to come off the paper. They're not long enough, so I'm just gonna draw them and drop them off the paper like we did for our other lines over here. Okay, so measure your finger and draw your lines. Let's do a third one. So I'm gonna rotate my paper. So let's see, what other shape of a leaf can I do? I could do more of a pointy one. This one's kind of fat. This one looks a little bit more skinny, so maybe I could do a skinny one. And yeah, let's do a skinny one. So I'm gonna start at the bottom of my paper and I'm gonna just draw a skinnier leaf, coming down and ending on the right side of my paper. As you can see, it's very big. It's almost as big as my hand. That's how big your leaves should be. They should be pretty big. And look, this leaf is overlapping the other leaf I just drew. So what can I do? What should I do? What about if we erase one of those lines where it looks like they are being smushed together? We can just erase that line. Now it looks like this leaf is on top of that leaf. Okay, good job. Remember, if you make a mistake while you're drawing, it's not the end of the world, right? We're using a pencil, so we are in good shape because we can just erase any mistakes that we might see. Okay? All right, now it's time to draw those beautiful branching lines. Remember, we start at the top of our leaf here, and then we are going to draw a line all the way down, and it goes off of our paper, just like that. And we're gonna start drawing those beautiful branching lines coming off of that main line that we drew. We don't wanna draw them too close together, do we? So take your finger and measure how far apart those branching lines should be. So at the bottom of every branching line you do, put your finger and draw some more branching lines, just like that. Okie dokie, artichoke, I just finished my third leaf. Now I can do my last one. As you can see, all my leaves are starting on a corner of my paper. I started on this corner, then I rotated, and I did a leaf on that corner, and on that, and I have 4 corners, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I should have 4 leaves in total, all right? So now I'm gonna work on my last leaf down here. And I'm trying to think of a cool shape that I could do for a leaf. Ooh, I think I thought of one. I always start drawing my leaves at the bottom of my paper. It makes it a lot easier. And I'm gonna do more of a wavy leaf shape. Coming up and around and off my paper. Perfect. Look, they're overlapping again. So what can I do? You're right, I can just erase that line that makes them look like they are jumbled up together, and once you erase that line, now this leaf is on top of that leaf. They are overlapping. Very good. All right, here's my wavy leaf. I don't think I've ever seen a leaf that looks like this. I just made it up, but it looks pretty cool. And I'm gonna start at the top of my leaf, and I'm gonna draw one line coming all the way down, and I'm gonna start drawing those beautiful branching lines that we have been practicing, remembering to measure with my finger how far apart they should be. All right, and there are my my beautiful leaves. Right now they're not really fall leaves because they're all white. So next time we are going to be adding color using oil pastels. If you guys don't have oil pastels, no need to worry. You can actually just use crayons. They work the same, okay? The things you need to remember when doing this drawing is to make your leaves very big. Remember, I like to start my leaf at the bottom and it comes up and it either goes off to the side of my paper, this edge, or this one didn't quite make it all the way to the edge, and it's okay if they don't go to the edge. All that I'm going to be looking for is that your leaves are bigger than your hand, right? All of my leaves are bigger than my hand, and that you're using those beautiful branching lines, starting with one long line and then drawing shorter lines coming off, right? And what do we do to make sure they're not too close? Take your finger and measure. Make sure they're not too close. If they're too close, it's going to be very hard to color them next week, okay? I hope you guys have a lot of fun doing this drawing. You can do whatever leaf shapes you want to. This is just Miss M's example. If you want to take some inspiration and do the same leaf shapes that I did, then you can definitely do that. But you can also use your own ideas as well. Okay, I hope you guys have a lot of fun doing this drawing. I can't wait to see how your enlarged leaves come out. I know they're going to be amazing because guess what? You guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.